After him, then came Luna Fox, Jet Propulsion, still Tagaloa, Embolism coming at him, and Luna Fox, Tagaloa looking to hold on, Luna Fox, and Cherry Tortoni from the clouds, Luna Fox, it's a foil over in the Guinea.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, a behind-the-curtain look at how pro punters operate, sponsored by puntingform.com.au and topsport.com.au. I'm your host, Scoot, and I'm joined by the punter's punter, DK, and Darcy Spinks. How are we today,
I think we're up and about,
guys?
Scooty. I think it's going to be a big show. Just in the preamble beforehand, the green room or whatever we want to call it. But
We're going to
be on,
Into our
Darcy.
chats, aren't we?
Yeah, we're
it's
going to
a
talk
bit
all things racing, and a little bit of reality TV. We're in the warm-up. We're talking about maths last night, and a lot of punters out there will be able to relate to that. A lot of holding hands time on the couch, getting forced into maths, and Britney Spears and framing Britney Spears.
Yeah, it was
Darcy,
on.
what about you? Have you been into maths?
Look, I have been watching maths. Very entertaining stuff. Not sure I would have matched all of them up together. They're quite entertaining. What do you guys reckon? Have you been watching?
From the bit I've seen, I can see why they're all single. And the blokes are feeding, and most of them have got no idea. Pickles, yeah. Got no idea. And the girls, I mean, some of the girls were there just too hard to please. They're going to be single for a long, long time, I think, Darcy.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, I agree to some extent.
Anyway.
I didn't really... it was very interesting when they had to rate their partner, like who they thought was the best looking. Like, obviously, they're all going to get a little bit upset if they're going to be completely honest. If I was on the show, whoever I was partner up with, I would have just put my partner at the front, even if I didn't think so.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to play the game.
They stuffed that up. They completely stuffed it up. But anyway.
I know.
Anyway, what else, Scooty? Where else we been?
Another thing that caught my eye, just while we're talking about TV world, was the 60 Minutes doco on Princess Latifah.
Yeah.
She's the daughter of Sheikh Mohammed,
Sheikh Mohammed,
who's the ruler of Dubai and also the chief of Godolphin.
That's right.
And it's just been amazing with this Gordon Elliott situation over in the UK with the picture of the dead horses and all that sort of thing, which is absolutely abhorrent, and it's a bad look for the industry, and I sort of get that. But what's really surprised me, which it hasn't surprised me at all in the same breath, is what's happening with the Australian media, who don't even want to talk about Godolphin and what's happening with the human rights issue that's happening in Dubai. But then you've got all the Sky presenters tagging, love the horse and all this sort of stuff. But and they say that they're happy to, when a bad egg, I'll call them out. But no, like the mainstream media in Australia haven't even addressed this, and Godolphin have just got a free license to keep on going. But this is a shocking story. This is absolutely horrific. And if it happened in Australia, they'd be run out of town.
It's that part of the world, though, mate. I tell you, because he's the ruler of Arab Emirates or Dubai and whatever over there. And what happened to Jamal Khashoggi or whatever over there? I'm not getting political, but that's what happened. Nothing ever. There's hardly any repercussions for that. And I've been to that part of the world and things like that. And the women's rights is not very high on the agenda over there, mate. Actually, it's terrible. So I can see sort of why it's been allowed to happen. I wasn't totally convinced. I saw her eyes rolling a bit in that.
Do you think she's putting it on to the
not
UK?
putting it on, but I think she might have a few mental health issues.
Oh, she would if I was locked up. I'd have some majors myself.
Yeah, and that was the theme of the night. There was Britney Spears obviously had some issues as well. It was sort of following on. That was the theme of that sort of program, wasn't it? That two girls under thing. But she goes good. Britney, did you watch? What do you think? Britney framing. Did you watch framing Britney Spears?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, and my missus has been away for a couple of days, but I fell into a couple of shows just to chill out a bit. But if the media are all over you like that, you would go a little bit loopy. So I sort of feel sorry for Britney, and I think most teenage blokes sort of my age would have been her first sort of crush. Like she sort of just changed the landscape a little bit in that sort of era. But yeah, I do feel sorry for her, and both situations are just appalling. I can't get my head around it. But it's just sort of rubbed me up the wrong way a bit this week, seeing all this, we love the horse and all this stuff. And if racing the racing media want to get on their high horse and crucify people for having a mistake, well, they need to call out all of it, not just pick and choose and protect their friends or protect the financial interests. There's a big revenue stream with Godolphin. And I've heard of lots of things getting censored on 927, and journalists, when they're trying to talk about it, they just get tugged on the coat and say, oh no, you can't print or talk about any of that. So we just want balance, and we're here to tell the truth, and we're not restricted by anything. So I think we just need a little bit of balance, and I don't know that we're going to get it, but it's interesting what's out there in the landscape now. DK, Ballarat on Sunday.
Ballarat on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
you pulled off a little bit of a sting.
yeah, that was a bit of a highlight, wasn't it? So we found a horse there.
Prince Rahini's.
Prince Rahini's. And
Yeah.
sort of that was just, I mean, I messaged you Thursday or Friday, so this horse is in.
Yeah.
And it's just so my MO, that possible group horse in a maiden. I just had to steel myself, was up against Salto Angel. It run second in the Oaks, which is a big fillies race in the autumn and the spring.
Dar's probably been to an Oaks.
Probably been to an Oaks
Yes,
Day, in the Oaks.
Yeah.
So you just had to sort of get it in your head that she could beat her. And I thought she had the talent to, but anyway, she did it easily. Well, not easily, but a length and a half or something in the end. But it was great. It was heavily backed, and we sent it out as a free tip to all the Little Birdie crew, because it was just sort of, that's the DKMO, that sort of horse.
Yep.
They're not all going to be like that. They're not all going to be plungers and wins and all that. But that talented horse that can be a rapid improver in a maiden,
Yep.
which is a lower grade of race.
Yes.
That's got the ability, I think, to win a much better grade of race. Like that also go to
Yeah.
some sort of Queensland Oaks or something like that. She's a 2,400 metre Oaks filly for sure. She's a half to John Snow. It was the good horse. So so hopefully we find more of them. Like I said, it's not all going to be like that, but it was just so the DKMO.
Yeah.
So we're starting the service this month, and we're just sort of looking. It's a good time of year for those sort of horses. March, sort of February, March is when they let a lot of nice horses go. So I thought it was a good month to kick off. And it'll be similar sort of time, August, September, a lot of nice horses. So so it was good, Scurdy. It was good to see it win.
Plenty of rorts to be found. So head to Little Birdie Shop. DK out wide is the set that you need. And I think he's got a bet tonight at Pakenham. So if you get in nice and early, you'll get the tip there. But the big upset, I think Darcy had a weekend off the punt from what she said yesterday on the Little Birdie podcast show. So she chose a great day, because it was a bit of a bloodbath for most punters, not for Casey, who tipped Star of the Seas, but it was a bloodbath for most with Luna Fox. We've got the replay on the screen now, but 300 to 1 Luna Fox, Prushka.
Yeah,
Paul
my man.
Prushka.
Love
Can't
Prushka.
he improve them? I saw him out at the sales, and he sort of giggled when a couple of people said, congratulations, and that was not a bad trick, wasn't it?
Here it is.
But, you could have found it if you go back a prep. It beat Adelaide Kirk. It was a 1,400 metre Flemington win there.
Yeah, so it had some
It
stuff.
was findable.
If you put it all there together, if you could forget its first up run, and it's probably run going out of the prep. But I'll tell you, it's the blinkers, mate. It is the blinkers. It was blinkers' first time, and we talk about it over and over again, what they can do to a horse, and it's improved this horse a heap of his first up run. Cherry Tortani was massive. But it's the blinkers, mate. I'm telling you, it's the blinkers. Would we see blinkers on the Blue Diamond winner, blinkers first time?
Blinkers in a Group 1 is just
blinkers
huge.
Blinkers in a grand final, But that horse, if you put it all together, 5th in the Caulfield Guineas, it had track and distance win, but it was hard to get that. I mean, Mark Reed had a theory, out poorly, back poorly, sort of could be gone, which that horse was. That's probably why it was, again, such big odds. But, he's a great trainer, Prushka. I mean, he's just a good trainer. We'll talk about other guys in that sort of neck of the woods, those country trainers in Victoria. They're right up there. And absolutely, the blinkers, and we might talk about later on, there's some horses with blinkers on for this weekend of grand finals. So
and looking up at the runners up, I thought maybe Tagaloa. There's a perception out there that maybe the Busselton racing team overtrain their horses, and that flat run on Saturday could be a reason. I don't know. Do they overwork their horses? I know it's something that other guys in my betting circles talk about, and even speaking to some of the guys out at the sales, they have a habit of maybe overdoing it.
I've never seen a joint. Robbie Lang in the past was one. Robbie Lang, who wasn't a great. He didn't really want to back his horses at the races, but they've never. I'm talking about trials.
Yeah.
I've never seen a joint with so much intent to win trials. Bussetton and Young.
Yeah.
And then they just can't. They get to the races and they come off it. I don't know what the training methodology is there. That horse was off did have a big figure there. The run before, which it had to hold, and sometimes when they go big, they can come off, which that horse did. Got big spikes, can they hold the spike? Can they improve off the spike? And a lot of the time, they're just as good as a chance to come off the spike. Not a putting joint of mine.
And I'm talking through my kick a little bit. I sort of Dutch Tagaloa and Cherry Tortoni, so I was a little bit flat. And Billy just needs to put more of his horses in the race. Paddy can only do so much to train that horse, and it was absolutely roaring home. Savage Line. It's going to run really well over 2,000, 2,400.
Right into instructions, though. I mean, that's how
you're going to get beat so many times.
It's the joint. It's
crazy.
Paddy. It's how Paddy would ride them. It's how he wants them ridden. It's how they track work them. It's how they do everything. that's why but the horses savage the line, so they just need a bit of luck in running, and so I'd be sticking with that horse, Cherry Tortonia, though. He's a good horse. He arguably could have won both in the spring, and then no, he's a good horse.
Yeah, he's one to follow for sure. On today's show, we've got Beat the Bagman, Shane Adair. He's going to talk Port Lincoln Cup on Friday. I don't know if the markets are open, but we'll get a tip from him. And he's going to talk Monday's Adelaide Cup. Massive field there. And we've got Charlie Rose and Mosh Music heading up the markets there. We've got Mintbet, Casey McCutcheon. He's our star of the show. And he was all over Star of the Seas last week. He was on fire there.
So were you, Scooty, to be fair? You were really kicking up for it. So you knew that horse well. And that's what when I look at the form, a lot of the times it's the horses I have good relationships with.
Yep.
That I know inside out. You've got to sort of start with them as at least your starting point.
Yep.
And then if you say, I don't like it today, work backwards. But you knew that horse. That was a starting point for you. You said, I know this horse really well. Know his patterns. So credit to you there, Scooty. You kicked up for it just as much.
Yeah, well, even a broken clock is right
right
twice a day.
Yeah.
So I got one there, but and then we've got racingwatch.com.au. We've got John Walter, the star. Your man, the star of the Little Birdie million stream. He found an $18 shot, I think, at Tamworth or somewhere out wide at Kembla. It led all the way in that stream. So he's an astute judge. So
he thought it'd lead all the way. He thought it'd be back last.
Yeah, or something like that.
Typical racing.
Anyway, so he's a very astute judge, and he'll be talking the Fireball, the Openers, and the Todman Stakes. So we've got a cracking show today. But if you're doing the form DARS for a Saturday, you're going to use
puntingform.com.au, Australia's best online form guide and database. You can also get your raw data to build your own model. Contact Punting Form to find out more.
Up next, we're going to talk Adelaide with Shane Adair. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, a behind the curtains look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I've got DK, the punters punter, with me, and Darcy Spinks, and we're dialing in Shane Adair, aka Beat the Bagman on Twitter, from Adelaide, who are COVID free. Welcome to the show, Shane.
G'day guys, g'day DK, g'day Darcy. Nice to be on Bet Doctor.
Mate, it's great to have you too, and we're pretty excited for a couple of weeks' time when we've got Moonee Valley Group 1 William Reid night, and you're crazy enough to say yes to a live audience and do the live stream. So we're going to have a State of Origin theme. We've got the Vics up against the South Australians. So on the Victorian team, we've got Casey McCutcheon and a captain, and we'll talk to him a little bit later. But you and John Kelton, Shane, are going to spearhead the SA attack. How are your confidence levels, and who's going to be captaining the ship? Is it going to be you or Eagle?
Bagman or the Eagle?
Well, I think the Eagles probably got the score on the board, so I'm just happy to carry his bags over to Victoria at the moment. But as you said, no bigger rivalry than South Australia versus Victoria. It doesn't matter what we do. We'd like to get one against our Victorian brothers.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a giggle, Johnny Kelton. He said, most people think that I just do SA form, but he says that he takes a really close look at Moonee Valley, and I know you guys are sharp enough to carry it across to Victoria, the form. And I think if the night goes successfully well, I think we might have to go back over to Adelaide and do a live event over in South Australia and get the Vic boys to go onto your home turf. What do you reckon about that,
rematch.
Shane?
Yeah, we'll see how the Moonee Valley one goes first before we start calling rematches. If we're knocked out in one round, it might be an absolute bloodbath, unfortunately. But it'd be nice to have all you guys over for our carnival in May, and maybe Goodwood Day would be a good day to pencil in.
Yeah, it's always a cracking race card, that one. And if you're keen to come to the live event at Moonee Valley, it's Friday the 19th of March. It's Group 1 William Reid night. It's $150 a ticket. It'll be a 2-course meal and all your drinks for 4.5 hours. You get to meet Darcy, you get to meet DK. We're even going to put DK into the crowd with a roving mic.
Might be on the tear that night. Got to leave fast.
If you want to have a beer with DK and meet Shane and all the boys at Eagle, it will be a cracker, and Casey will be on fire. Now, Shane, we haven't just got you here to pump up the Moonee Valley night. It's Port Lincoln Cup Day. It's a cracker on Friday. TopSport are a little bit gun shy. They haven't got the markets up, but by the time this show goes to air later today, I'm sure there'll be a price up and some markets.
Good joint, Port Lincoln.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've been to probably 3 Port Lincoln Cups on it back in the day. Yeah,
well.
Beautiful joint. More millionaires per capita than anywhere else in Australia in that town.
Really?
From the tuna, and they've got some big industries there. The race course has got the beautiful backdrop of the ocean behind it. Great hospitality. There's wineries over there and whatnot. It's a great joint, Port Lincoln.
Yeah, well, there's
a very good place for punters as well, with myself and the Eagle both starting our journeys in Port Lincoln, our places of birth as well.
Really? Oh, yeah, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah, great job.
So there's a little fact for the bet
You're
doctor
more
listeners this
millionaires
morning.
too. More millionaires.
Yeah, exactly. They got plenty. What about the race, Shane? Who's going to win the cup?
Well, I think it's pretty much a race in two. Last year we saw Dexter Devil and Bramfield fight out a close finish. I think those two are the winning chances again. Dexter Devil brings over very strong City Saturday form lines, horses behind Ironclad, who looks like he's a genuine star of promise. Retrato, Don't Dream It's Over. All these horses are benchmark 85 horses in town here in Adelaide, and Bramfield is a class local mare who performs very well at the track and ran well in the Cup last year. Last start was 7 weeks between runs. I'm expecting to take sharp improvement. As you said, no markets are up as yet, but Dexter Dever and Bramfield are the two runners I'll be focusing in.
And it looks like the mare's got 7.5 kilos on Dexter. What were you going to say, DK?
I was Analytica sort of don't like it, Shane. I sort of didn't have much luck in the prelude, but
it got shuffled back. Yeah, it got shuffled back on the turn, and once it got clear, it made it up a little bit of running. Look, I've got a little bit of concern maybe at the trip. The 1950 might see it out. I thought it was sort of hit the wall that last 100 metres as well, and look, it's a tight track. I think horses who have performed really well in the past are suited. So, look, I think Dexter Devil will go up fade with Analytica second favourite, but I'm probably happy to play around Analytica at the moment.
All right, we might get Beat the Bagman to shoot out a tweet once he sees the market prices and
Bramfield we know over here, because Bramfield came over here for the staying race, and what it has got is stamina. It will stay the trip and be strong late. It was strong late in that they do have a prelude over there, which is great to have a big lead-up race, which is the Cup prelude, which Dexter Devil won last year, and then he went on to win the Cup, but he stayed in Adelaide this time, but Bramfield was the best run probably in the lead-up, so sounds like Bramfield might be the one with the value.
Oh, I'll tell you what it does sound like. It sounds like we need to do a live stream over there next year.
Oh,
so I
mate, massive.
It does.
DK.
It's awesome, mate. I've got the itinerary all set out. Go to Adelaide, first day, park in Adelaide, go to winery, come back casino, get the flight over to Port Lincoln, park at the winery on the day before on the Wednesday, get to the races Thursday, home Friday. Oh, mate, huge.
I'll have to carry onto the plane on Saturday. We might have to just bunk in at the Adair family. It's Shane's anniversary, so big congratulations to Shane, 5 years of marriage. But let's go to the Adelaide Cup on Monday. It's a massive weekend in Adelaide. Adelaide Cup Day on Monday, and it's a public holiday in Victoria too. But it's a cracking field. This we'll put the market up now, thanks to TopSport. And Darcy, do you want to just run us through the market movers thus far?
Yeah, so we have a short favourite, number 4, Charlie Rose, at $1.85 into $1.80. And then we have number 2, Mosh Music, at $8.50, now $9.
What, Shane, the replay that you wanted us to show here, which is about to play on screen, is that the last start win of Charlie Rose from I think it was the Group 3 Lord Reims. That was the one from the Simon Wild. I'm wearing the Simon Wild racing hat, but this is the runner that you like?
Yeah, well, it's hard not to like after watching this replay. You saw it over there, guys, in the bag, and it won by, I think the official margin was furlongs, and then it's come over to here in Adelaide and made an absolute mess of them in the Group 3 Lord Reims. Look, I think it's going to probably have to break down to lose. It looks absolutely unbeatable based off these last 2 runs. I think 3,200 will be no issues. It's a horse still on the up. I think you'll probably see it on the first Tuesday in November in that race. Come another 6 months or so time, it'll be winning on Monday. I thought Long Arm might be a little bit of a place chance around that $12 mark. It'll be around $3.20 for a place. But Charlie Rose, put your money on, sit back and watch it wimbo out 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, no,
Sit and steer, stand and cheer.
Yeah,
DK, you know this horse really well
really
too.
Well. Yeah. Actually, I took her on at her third start. She was even money in a maiden at... this was the first prep day. She improved enormously this prep, but that was a Terang. She got beat at evens one day. I think they went too hard on her out in front or something. But she's a winning machine for a great trainer. We're talking about Paul Pushka, Simon Wild. And also, speaking of Mosh Music, Mosh Music's 8 from 16. It's
no slouch.
No slouch, and flying this prep. Archie Alexander, another good trainer. So, good trainers, good trainers as stayers. But this horse, she looks one out of the box, doesn't she, Shane?
Yeah, she certainly does. And peak rating the last 2 starts, and didn't even really get out of second gear in the straight there. So I think still had plenty more to offer, and I think better things are in store than a benchmark Group 2 race on a public holiday Monday in South Australia.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It looks like it'll eat the 3200. And Shane, a little bit of a hat tip too. www.youngcare.com.au with a charity.
Oh, yes.
They provide housing for the disabled, and your tip in the Little Birdie Diamond Stream was crucial to that. You had $1,000 on Lord Vladivostok. I think I've said that right. And it absolutely won like Farlap. It was a little bit green, so it's got a little bit to learn, but it won impressively.
A horse to follow.
It was like a shot out of a gun. So where do you think that'll bob up next start, or has it raced yet?
No, it hasn't been around as yet, but anything you can follow from the Michael Hickmont yard in South Australia is well worth $1 or $2. Stable's flying at the moment, especially with his New Zealand gallopers. He's got a very good crop of progressive New Zealand runners in the States, and when he combines with Jess Eaton and the money is on, look out, because they're a very profitable combination. It was around 80% return on investment last time I checked, so that's one worth following over the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane, fantastic analysis. Good luck over the weekend on the punt. We're going to hear a lot about you. We might even do a little profile piece on you just so the punters at home can get well acquainted with yourself and Eagle. We might put you guys in a bar together or down at a winery, and I should fly over and do the interview myself, and it sounds like DK's on the plane as well. But let's check in with you closer to the stream, and I'm sure you're going to be a big contributor with us all throughout the year. Thanks for your time today.
On your bag, man.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Das, if you're betting in the Adelaide Cup next Monday, big public holiday, sounds like an absolute beauty. You just get Hochi Mama, delivered at home, and you'd be getting your account at TopSport fired up.
Yep. Topsport.com.au. Family owned and run for 30 years. Bet with a bookmaker you can trust, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858.
Up next, we're going to talk Flemington with Casey McCutcheon. He's in red hot form. He was on fire last week at Flemington, and he'll be full of beans. Welcome back to Beck Doctor. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got DK, the punter's punter, and Darcy Spinks with me. It's starting to heat up. This is a behind-the-curtain look at how pro punters operate, and I tell you what, don't worry about Star of the Seas. Star of the show, Casey McCutcheon, joins us now from his den. How are you, Case?
Flattery will get you everywhere, Scoot. Thank you for having me.
Mate, it's great to have you back. But big news breaking this week. You are the captain of the Vicks. It's a heavy crown to wear. How confident are you of bringing home the bacon on Group 1 William Reid night at Moonee Valley against the South Australian outfit spearheaded by John Kelton and beat the bagman Shane Adair? We just heard from Shane Adair. He's quietly confident by the sound in his voice. What about your confidence levels coming into the Valley in a couple of weeks' time?
Mate, how could you not be bullish with the big V on your chest? You know, you run out there like 10 men, surely.
That's the outfit. That's what you're going to be wearing, the big
We're going to have a lot of fun, right? We're going to have a lot of fun. I reached out to the Crow Eaters this week to wish them all the best. We've brought them to the graveyard of Victoria, Moonee Valley. Good luck, guys.
Death Valley.
Home track, Vicks. Home track. We'll have the crowd behind us and hopefully a few tricks up our sleeve.
I'm expecting a big, like, Ted Whitten-inspired pump-up speech from you at the start, Case. That's what I want to see. I think the crowd wants to see it. Get everyone pumped up, you know. So that's what we want.
DK, I reckon you've got a bit of that in you, mate. I don't think a big Tom Hafey sort of gear from you might be called upon if we.
I could, yeah. I might do that. Come in, yeah. No, I might put something together. We'll see. Stay tuned.
We just need someone to Dermot Burton style, just run through the huddle at quarter time. If you're behind the 8-ball, Case, is that going to be you? Are you just going to crash your way through those laptops?
Oh, mate, I'll be skirting the packs. Don't worry. I might have to send some of my drip mates in for that sort of gear, but. Look, it's going to be a bloody good night, a lot of fun, and a great night of racing, that one of my little favourites. So I'm busy, mate. Can't wait.
Good stuff. All right, let's cut out the nonsense. Let's talk about the big action this week at Flemington.
Super Saturday.
Super Saturday.
Darcy's been to a Super Saturday. He was saying, Darcy.
Yes, lots of fun.
She knows all about it. Big day.
I haven't actually watched the races, but
Our car park
maybe
road.
this week. Yeah, I will this time.
Okay, the Newmarket Handicap. This is the race that everyone's talking about. We've got the odds up on the screen now, courtesy of topsport.com.au. And Darcy, the market movers in the Newmarket at the moment.
Yes, so the favourite, number 14, September runs, $2.20, no real big move. And number 18, Swats That, $8.50 into $7.50.
Yeah, and then what we're going to show now is something that probably most of you guys haven't seen at home, and that's the trial from last Friday. This is a little jump out they have up at Flemington, up the straight there. And I think Swats That wins the trial, DK. You can talk us through the trial.
No, they Swats That had a quiet trial with September Run.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was just great to watch. So it was just a stretch of the legs for most of these horses there, just to clean them up for this race. So we saw Serious Suspect, or we see Serious Suspect here, out and rolling, that's how it races, with Elite Street sort of chasing it. And then you see the others sort of out the back having their quiet trials, bit of just stretch the legs. The favourite, September Run, Swats That alongside it. I just thought it's just, even if you just want to learn about, it just shows you why a trial's a trial. It's just, if they're all unraced horses and you were looking at them, you'd say, the things that win the trial by 3 or 4 things, they're the ones you want to follow because they've got. But the best horses are obviously Swats That and September Run, just out the back, just having a stretch, travelling under a grip. And that's where you train your eyes in trials and think about the intent of the stables in their trials and their patterns and things like that, and how their racing patterns, their speed horses, first run on horses. So it's just great. But I thought they all just went beautifully. What do you think, Case?
Yeah, I concur, mate. Trials, I don't have a jump out eye. I know some people do. Like some people just look at a horse and tell you a story about it. Jump outs for me are a health check. I mean, they got 4 legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, good. You look at something like Elite Street that had an issue last start. That's probably the most relevant bit of information out of that trial, that he's come back okay and he's ready to go, I suppose. And Serious Suspect, I was just sort of worried with it. Tuned up for a trial Friday, 8 days out. Whereas the rest of them, Swats That, Celebrity Queen, September Run, we're all sitting back, smoking a big pipe, ready to rev up on grand final day. So, I agree with you, DK. You got to pick and choose what you take out of trials, I think.
Well, I think the thing that I took out with the Elite Street, and yes, that's what you want to see, especially with a horse off an issue, that they're back and have that jump out in between. But September Run isn't a flash track worker. And if you just went off her trials before her first up run, and Chris Waller said, she doesn't trial well, she's not a flash track worker, she looked pretty sharp there. She's had the run back. So she's a racer. She's into the prep now. She's got the run under the belt. I think that's what I took out, that she didn't trial like she normally trials a bit average. She looked pretty sharp there. Like Craig had a really good grip on her. So I think that was my main takeaway. But watching that, everyone could have had a different takeaway from that. There was so many nice horses just down the straight. Everything was it was good.
Yeah, and it looks like the bookies haven't missed her at all. I think $2.20 early. I couldn't entertain her at that price, but let's get her replay of the Lightning Stakes where she just motors home for second. She just comes into the race very, very strongly. Up on the screen now, she's in the Throsby colours, I think, in behind the red and the green, and she's just starting to motor into work very, very late here. It's beautiful to watch, and it's a big flashing light run. But Case, how do they get her beat, stepping up to 1,200 now?
That's the question. I think we spoke about a few of these horses for the Coolmore last year, and Swats That, I think, is the one you can see there in the purple getting windburn. I mean, if you look at where they were at the furlong there, she had a few lengths and was going okay on September Run, but then the big red and green machine just revs right up, and it's very hard. I mean, she definitely looks the likely winner, and the drums have been beating since the Lightning, when she ran so well up against one of the best in the land. So at a handicap under these conditions, she's not poorly off at the weights either. You got the Waller ready to tune her. I mean, she's tuned up on the day. Williams knows the key to her, and she's drawn pretty well. I don't think there's going to be a problem with Willow. Will have all the middle part of the track to rev up. She doesn't get outsped. She doesn't get her wheels spun. She cruises, and then we've seen how she finishes off races. So I can't talk you out of her. If you can get some sort of boost that gets you over 6-4 towards 7-4, then I think that's the bet. Because if you think about it, I mean, you run this race 10 times, it's hard to see her getting beat more than half the time. But There is a couple of other interesting runners, and we can't let my girl Swats that go. She is worthy second favourite. And she does draw an interesting gate here. John McNeil's been going well down the straight, and she's going to draw the outside paint. So that could be an advantage. If, and September run's going to be coming through the middle. If that gets an extra length, squeezes an extra length out of Swats that could be the difference? She's got the 2 kilos on Swats September run that she hasn't had in their prior meetings, where she's been game, but she's been well covered by September run in pretty much each of them. So gonna need to find something Swats that to beat September run, but she's each way odds again, and again it's about 7-4 the place. And after that, it does get a bit murky, but I thought the one at value was Brooklyn Hustle. It was fantastic last start, backed late in the Oakley Plate, and really justified that late money with probably one of the runs of the race. Clearly the last 200 and at 600, last 600 was betted only by Dirty Work in that race, who I really rate, and was probably the hard luck story of the day there. You dig back through Brooklyn Hustle, it's got a little bit of history to it. Took the scalp of Everest champion, yes, and when it won its maiden. Ran well in the Exceedance Coolmore behind those Libertini, Bivouac, and Exceedance, obviously, the trifecta that day with quality. So we'll need a personal best from Damien Thornton, but I thought it might be the one at odds that is in a bit of form. And the way it took gaps last week in the Oakley Plate is what you want here down the straight. So it ticks a lot of boxes for me, Brooklyn Hustle, for someone looking for a bit of value, or the exotics. What do we think of a couple of the blowouts here? I thought Elite Street is the unknown factor. When Morton comes across and starts talking about a horse in the same conversation or same breath as Scenic Blast, you've got to take notice. They were bullish before the Lightning, and things didn't go their way that day. But the trial suggests it's okay. It had a little internal bleed after that race, and was no good pre-race. So we'll be interested to watch it prior to the jump on Saturday. But at odds, Elite Street, the blowout chance, and the other one I'd stick in a wide quaddy would be Standout, which we're probably just taking on a bit of faith there. Blinker's first time though, hasn't produced its last few, and getting out the gates like a real jerk lately. So, but they're the ones at 30s and 40s that you might throw in a wide quaddy, considering what we've seen happen the last 7 days.
Yeah, I really like the Brooklyn Hustle angle. Just the 1100 metre Oakley Plate, nice platform for a big, tough 1200 metre.
Yeah, it was a fast Oakley Plate too, wasn't it?
I think, with what Casey said there, if there was a little bit of a query, which I don't think there is on September running a strong 1200 metre, I think she silenced those critics in the Coolmore. I'd be thinking, a bet like Brooklyn Hustle each way would be a very good way to play this race. Angle. Yeah, I think you've definitely nailed it there, Case. Let's kick forward to the Race A, to the Australian Cup. We'll get the odds on the screen now, courtesy of topsport.com.au. And Das, where's the early money moving in the Australian Cup before we get Casey's thoughts?
Yeah, so favourite number 3, 50 stars, $5 into $4.40. Number 14, nonconformist, $12 into $9.
Oh, this is going to trigger DK here, but
you know what has triggered me? That I've seen it's got Blinkers first time.
Oh no!
From barrier 16. You drop off today, third up with Blinkers first time, like. Oh yeah, no, this is. Yeah.
What's your read on that?
Great game.
Blinkers from that wide gate. Do you see it going forward or going back like it did in the Peter Young?
Oh, I could see probably sliding in. They're not going to rev it up, but I could. Yeah, you'd be trying to slide in probably 3 wide with a trail or something like that, and building momentum.
I tell you what, if there are punting gods, this thing could be a massive chance non-conformist. It's Murphy's Law. DK backed it first up. We're on track. When we took Darcy to the races at Caulfield, it flashed home. Last start.
Backed it for charity. And
the boys bet up. They backed it to win 100 or 150,000. No good again. And here it is. This is probably grand final day. The blinkers are on. The trainer's saying, here it is. This is the race we really want. The market's starting to tell you 12 into $9. DK hasn't taken the price yet. But Case,
Barry's the price.
Who's going to win the race?
Well, blinkers can be, it can be a good thing or it can be a sign of desperation. And I wasn't thrilled with non-conformist. So the 2 horses are back pre-post for this race. The writing was on the wall. This race was going to fall away a bit with what's going on with the All-Star Mile. The 2 horses are back pre-post was 50 stars and non-conformist. Now, after last week, I would certainly keep a 50 stars ticket, but non-conformist did not thrill me at all. Blinker's first time. Look, if DK's off, I'll keep my ticket. But what I thought, a 50 stars last week was he put his class up there. There was a bit of question mark over how ready he was last week after only coming off the one Sydney run, and
we might put the
for him to
replay up
nearly
now
mow down Star of the Seas in the Blamey was exciting for Australian Cup punters. It's a weight for age winner. It just wins. It's almost won its third Blamey in a row last week. This will be back-to-back Australia Cups. And when you have a look through the rest of the field, there's not that many of them that want to make you reach for the money clip. There's a few that have cost punters dearly. So a few handicappers. And it was I'll tell you what, I mean, I had to go down a bit of a YouTube wormhole just to get the goosebumps going about Australia Cup again last night. I was watching the Babe get up and down the Andy. I was watching the Voroad go back to back, Saintly, Ockie, Northerly, the Diva, and I was getting all pumped. I just get back into it. This is one of the oldest races we've got, and this one's perhaps a little bit vanilla, but I'm happy with my 50 stars ticket. I think Shared Ambition. So out of that last week, or the Peter Young, we got non-conformist. Shared Ambition kind of went round together with Japata. Out of those, I'd probably go take Shared Ambition, who might get a nice run from gate 2 with Zara. That middle distance, I'm looking for Lane, I'm looking for Carr, I'm looking for Zara, who they're on and what they're doing. It's not. I don't know if they're going to go all that much quicker than what they did in that Caulfield race. They've got Best of Days might come across with Homesman from the outside, and then from the middle, not that much speed, and Parody on the rail on the fence. Parody obviously is drawn to get maybe a cheap on-speed run and maybe get that little bit of pressure, but it's drawn well with Willow. So the ones in the market, I wouldn't go fishing too far outside them. And the one I'm sort of warming too late in the middle of them is still Prince. I thought it was really good in that race with these other runners. It was a Peter Young. So it looked like it sort of played up and had a bit of sweat all over it that day as well. It was posted 3 wide the trip and kept coming with the others. So with a bit of a softer run and the beautiful, soft, moisturised and manicured hands of Jamie Carr, you wouldn't be writing it off. But I'm just praying 50 stars does the job, and if it doesn't, non-conformist.
Just before DK interjects there, I'm curious about Steel Prince. I think Jamie Carr might have had the pick of Warning and Steel Prince, but even Warning, first up, it's a Flemington horse. I need to go find its jump outs and trials and do some investigation into another camp that can just peak them for those Group 1 races. The Freedman Yard are just absolutely deadly. What were you going to say, DK?
I was going to say the query I have on 50 stars is that was a brutally run race on Saturday with Buffalo River going nuts in front.
Yep.
Back up off a brutal race is a small query for mine. And what Kay's saying, the lack of tempo. So he's going from a brutally run race 1 week over a mile to the slow pace 2000 of the Cup. So just a couple of little things he's got, but he's a proven horse, and he's obviously won this race last year and everything. But
I'm not sure that inside gate will suit him either.
No,
because he'll have to go to last, I think, and then come around and all those blamey wins and Australia Cups. With sweeping 3 wide and
he likes a horse who likes to flow.
Outside.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of little queries on him. So maybe non-conformist, the blinkers can switch him on. But the barrier makes it difficult. 16.
Yeah, I don't know if he backs up, but a horse like Cherry Tortoni looked perfectly suited off that nice, softer sort of tempo.
That's what I prefer.
I don't know if he's a horse that does back up, but
that's what I prefer.
I would have put him into this race.
That's what I prefer on a back up, personally.
The nice young
3-year-old bounces through it. Who knows how 50 stars pulled up. You could see it as a bit of an empty out. So we'll see.
Case, fantastic work today, mate. I'm sure you'll have your foot on September run, but are they going to find you out on the lawn again at Flemington, the punters?
They will, the punters. We're on the west end of the lawn, so hopefully somewhere between, around about the winning post or somewhere near that region. Hopefully a chock-a-block crowd for Super Saturday. The perfect weather is on again. So come see us with Mid-Benton. We'll look after you and you'll have a ball. And we can both win. You get back some winners. We can, keep some like we did last week, and everybody can have a good day.
Fantastic. That is the captain of the Victorian team for Group 1, William Reid Night Stakes Night. If you want to see Casey tear apart the South Australian rivals. $150 a ticket per person. We've got about 100 tickets left. It's half sold already. So make sure you check that out. Casey is an entertainment machine, and it's going to be fireworks. DK be on the roving mic. Thanks for joining us, Case. Good luck this weekend.
All the best, gang. Thanks for having me.
See you, Case.
See ya.
And form for this weekend for the Group 1 Super Saturday, Darcy.
Powered by puntingform.com.au, Australia's best online form guide and database. Scoot and DK use it, and a little birdie tells me that Casey uses it too.
Casey McCutcheon on board puntingform.com.au. Now, we'll take a little bit of a break. It's been a big show thus far, but Johnny Walter, racingwatch.com.au,
My man, Johnny Walter.
him and DK striked up a big affinity after the Little Birdie Millions. We had a couple of drinks on the balcony and some good banter after that. And we're going to talk all things Randwick with Johnny Walter up next. Welcome back to Beck Doctor, a behind-the-curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got DK, the punter's punter, and Darcy Spinks. And we're going north. We're flying north for Big Red. We've got John Walter dialed in. Welcome to the show, Walt.
He's mate, live from the dungeon. I haven't got out of here in about 2.5 weeks, so welcome.
Mate, my sausage dog, every time I take him for a walk, he dives into the bushes and he refuses to come out, and it costs me a couple of minutes every time we go for a walk, or I try and put him in the car, and it's his version of the cupboard. Every time he dives into those bushes, I think of Walt, actually, so you're always in the forefront of my mind. But, Walt, I saw you drop an interesting little tweet late at night, so it must have been while you were just chewing over maths. And your tweet says, seeing Flutters or sports bets revenue growth and trying to fathom how they are not operating under the same rules as on-course bookies, at the very least, literally gives me a migraine. Hashtag how. I'm going to throw to DK first, but DK's been in at Racing Victoria last week with Richie Irvine, the patron saint of betting, and you've got news to report in regards to the minimum bet laws, which is timely because I've got a number of complaints this week about punters and people that subscribe to our tips, and they're still getting knocked back by even smaller players. All these new little startups are popping up, and they don't want to take a bet anywhere by the sounds of it, and they're not playing by the rules, and they're ducking and diving. But what's the latest?
This is RVL. So I saw Walt send that tweet last night, and I was going to bang him out a message, and I thought, no, we'll talk about it today when I saw he was going to be on the show. We had a meeting, and things like this were canvassed. And that's a particular grind of mine too, exactly what Walt said. So my suggestion, and a suggestion from Rich, who we also agreed, was that there be, with the updating the minimum bet rules down here, be either a tier 1 and a tier 2, like a rails and off the rails, or a gold or silver, bronze. So my thing was I couldn't have Joe Coronica on his little Aussie wagering betting to the same rules as Sportsbet, who say they've got 46% of the market or something like that. So that says the top 4 or something, like Sportsbet, Tab, Ladbrokes, 365, everyone wants to be a part of that gold. They bet to win 5 and 2 or something like that, and the others bet to win 2 and 1. I mean, that was well received, I would have thought. That was part of the feedback and the updating. And more was about the timing. The timing of minimum bet laws to kick in. My feedback there was that there's a flurry of activity at 5 o'clock or whenever the markets go up most days, 5 p.m, and then post-scratchings, which is now 7:50, 8 a.m. There's no action 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. for night meetings. None. Bugger all. So that if you want to put up a price, minimum bet laws kick in. And if they could have had some early market minimum bet laws and then increased the limits in the last 30 minutes. There was some ideas that banded around. But just saying that while this stuff is on the table in at least in Victoria. And then we said, can you please talk to the other PRAs as well? Obviously for our friends interstate like Walt, whatnot. Not sure how much luck they'd have up there in North Korea with Emperor Volandis and all that. But we'll see. Anyway, there's there, Walt.
I'm not smiling.
How do you think the two-way communication would go up north, Walt?
Well, I even seen Roy Key put a thing out this morning. 1984 on-course bookies betting to win 3,000, and again, like that's 3,000, then they get a chance to move their price, then it's 3,000 again. Like it's not one time. There was 100 bookies, 200 bookies. Now, 1 or 2 people are holding more than that whole 100 or 200 bookies were holding, and they're betting to win, 2/3 of that 25 years, 35 years later.
Yes.
When, as he said, like I think he said a house was average of 84,000 or something, it's now $1 million. So it just doesn't make sense to me how it's allowed. Like, it's just so illogical, and yet no one seems to want to fight it or care, or like, well, what's the reasoning behind it? How can I be allowed to bet middle tote, but the next door neighbour can get on every product because of whatever reason? So it just seems so logical how to sort it all out. There should be one federal controller, and it shouldn't be that hard to work out. But I also don't understand how there is no punters union or anyone representing, like back in the day, who set these rules up, who set the bookies rules up for on-course bookmakers, and whose best interest was it in to have these limits, and why is it not the same now?
I couldn't agree more. And racing, I know they're trying to get a new audience, but the millions of dollars that they're spending on promoting these pop-up races and all these different new initiatives, like, there's got to be some sort of level of service to the existing customer base. I know that I'm handcuffed at the moment with how much I can bet. I want to turn over more money, but the current rules aren't letting me do that. And there's a lot of people that would just give up the game, or there's a lot of people that go and move their turnover to greyhounds or a different vocation or even sport and think, oh, this is too hard and the margin's too high. And it's a real issue. So I don't want to keep harping on it, but it's good to see that Racing Victoria are on the front foot. And I think Walt's point is spot on. If you've got a behemoth that's got allegedly 46% of turnover in the door at Sportsbet, they need to operate on different rules to Joe the pop-up bookie or these smaller joints to make the game fairer for all. Everyone wants to bet, everyone wants to play. Turnovers all going up, but let everyone contribute to the game. We want to bet up, so just let us go. Yeah. We'll take a little bit of a deep breath here, and we'll take the pressure out of the show. But Walt was pretty vocal. He's very vocal on Twitter. He's definitely worth a follow. Must follow on Twitter at J_Walter23, and this is some of his best work. We've obviously chosen the new Little Birdie Lager label, and he's very good at superimposing. I might have to get him a part-time gig here with some of our graphic design.
You got it right. There you go.
Here he goes. He's found the winning stubby, and he's got little DK's melon perched on the Little Birdie head. So option E was
should have been in the voting.
What DK wanted.
Should have been in the voting. There it is. The DK
nice.
and the Little Birdie
and the red.
And
so
the red.
all of a sudden, when there's a sick beat or three,
mate,
the Little Birdie on the ledge with DK and the Hello Darkness, my old friend.
Could be something that the Hello Darkness, my old friend.
Red.
Cabernet for drown your sorrows.
Well done, Walt.
Animals celebrate. Works both ways.
That's right.
Now, we're looking to back a couple of winners and celebrate this weekend at Randwick. And Walt's going to open the batting. He's going to get stuck into the Fireball Stakes Race 1. The market movers. We might get the odds courtesy of topsport.com.au up there first, and we'll go to your market movers. Darcy, give Walt some time.
So, short favourite, number 1, Wild Ruler, $2.20 into $2.05. And then number 7, Vowmaster, $6.50 into $5.50.
What do you make of the Fireball, Walt?
Well, it's kind of interesting. Both races we're going to cover, the favourites have both drawn 1. So, and quite a few of these are first up. The big query for me is probably who does and who doesn't line up here a bit too, because I think Mar Bush is down in the straight race down in Flemington as well. I don't think it's come out of either race yet, but Wild Ruler looks like holding the front, which is important to its chances. I think it's a huge risk if it doesn't. Any sort of pressure early, it really will change the race. I think, like, sort of long story short, I'm opposing it at $2.20. I think there's some dangerous horses in this race. You've got Andermatt, who looks to get the perfect run that it got first up again here and has a really solid turn of foot. So any sort of pressure, it'll be the one exposing them late with the added fitness. You've got Mar Bush, who I think is a very talented horse resuming, and it's 5 times the price. It's $10 as opposed to a Wild Ruler $2. And then you've got the enigmatic Vowmaster and the strong closing Doubtland if there's pressure as well. So I think it could be any sort of chinks in the armour. A Wild Ruler will be exposed from 1. And while I'm struggling to nail down who I want to be on, I think I would just want to heavily oppose Wild Ruler at the $2.20.
DK's a really big fan of Barrier 1, as we've seen for the last 3 streams.
Well, he said, exactly. And he said, can I hold the front? And then if it doesn't, look out. And that's what we've been finding. They're not holding the front, they're in the coffin.
Gap territory.
Even when you aren't like gate 1 round week leading is not ideal. It's never easy to really lead there regardless. So you're always being dictated to, and he may set up a really soft time in front and sprint home, but there's other horses that can close just as well as him. So you want to have every chance in front, otherwise he might be in a bit of trouble.
We'll skip. So that's Take On Wild. Rule a bet around it for sure. And we'll go to the Todman race 2 here, and it's the Golden Slipper. It's a traditional Golden Slipper lead up. So either the horses that win or have the big flashing light run, these are the ones that you want to usually be on when you're betting in the Golden Slipper in a few weeks' time on the 20th of March, the day after our live stream. But we've got the odds courtesy of topsport.com.au up on screen now for the Todman. And Darcy, what's the early market movers?
Yep, so favourite, number 1, Profiteer, $2.90 into $2.45. And number 7, Remark, has drifted, $3.40 out to $4.20.
And I think the other one, Stay Inside, is around $3.10. And yeah, like I guess the obvious, I think we'll get the replays up now of Profiteer. Early speed, it thrashed them over the 1100 and put a big margin on them. Let's have a look at the replay of Profiteer in the Roll the Dice Blue, just careering away here. Very, very emphatic winner here. He's won on a soft track and sort of looks bomb-proof. We'll watch this replay first, and then we might go to the Stay Inside replay, which was another good one. He's just absolutely...
He's something to that. He sort of established that margin very early, whereas this is Stay Inside coming here. He establishes all his margins very late. And that's the big difference between these two horses for me.
Not killed either.
No, I like the way Stay Inside settled, Walt, and then just sort of pulled across heels and looked a bit push button.
Whereas the other fella, like his first time in race, he conserved his energy. Last time he really spent way too much in the first half of his race, and a far lesser quality race, whereas he meets today or tomorrow. So if he doesn't conserve that energy, I think a horse like Stay Inside or possibly Remark will destroy him. And again, he's drawn one, Profiteer. I know I've thought it's probably a Mark Lambourne was one of the first people to coin it, a lawnmower run. And to me, that's what Profiteer looked like in the English race. That looked like a bit of a last run of a prep for me. They sort of held him together for that run. He did a good job. He ran fast time, but he looked a bit out of control. And it's very hard to bring a 2-year-old back from that sort of run for mine to this. And then you've got the added so it's 28 days, no trial. They've patched him together probably to get him here, but their whole goal is to improve him into the slipper. So Profiteer is being heavily backed, I see, but it's the one that I think is very vulnerable. There's some strong horses here, and again, I think there's more pressure than the Wild Ruler race potentially, and it's all eyes on James McDonald for mine. What he does from that outside gate on Stay Inside, it's the push button horse that it can settle up on speed and then it can accelerate off it. So it's the horse I want to be with if it has any luck at all, and it's the horse I want to be with in the slipper by far and away.
DK?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Walt's the man up there, and I've just watched a few replays, and I know Profiteer obviously. It was what was that, $1 million race or something I won the other day?
1.2.
2 million.
Which was a restricted sales race. Which is and looked like a bit of an empty out to me. Like you saw, even just on those 2 replays, we saw the last 50 metres.
Really into it.
He was into it. Where the last 50 metres, the other one, Stay Inside, it was eased down.
Yep.
So I know which one I want to be on going forward into their next run, and that'd be Stay Inside of those two for sure.
Yeah, and there's a little...
Remark's the enigma. It's had, 49 days. It obviously had a little setback. I don't know if it was a virus or a temperature or whatever, but it was medicated. So, and how many 2-year-olds come back from that sort of thing as well? It's not an easy thing to do. And again, they're trying to improve into the slipper as well. So if Stay Inside drew a gate, I think it would be an all-in job. But probably you're going to get a better price tomorrow.
Yeah. The other thing about a lead up to a grand final, it can be dangerous territory too. More so with odds on short favourites. We've seen over years and years we saw them all go over at short odds in the lead up, and then
spike,
and then like grand final trains like the Snowdens, then into the big one improve. So
Capitalist,
not
all these sort of
Capitalist, spot on. Yeah, not saying that's so much the case with Profiteer because he's already had a bit of an empty, but I'm just not sure if he's trying to stay up for the slipper, how much he's going to want empty out on this as well.
Exactly, and I caught up with the Roll the Dice guys out at the sales on Sunday, and they sort of gave me an indication of it's definitely not grand final day, and he might need the run or the blowout, and they're not going to be disappointed if he gets turned over in the Todman this week.
Yeah, well, bigger, huge fist of golden slipper. I mean, for Stallion.
Yeah.
Stallion for everything, the best stallions we've got. So the golden slipper winners, some of the best stallions. Huge prize, huge carrot there. So, and this is the lead up. So yes.
Newgate have bought both of them, Profiteer and Stay Inside, as far I think.
There you
They're
go.
Both
There we go.
controlling share in both horses. So
that's it.
I think they're both qualified, even though Profiteer won a restricted race. I think it's still probably got enough money to get in there, but it does. You've got to think about those sorts of angles too, about who's trying to get their horse where because of the crazy money. But that's the other reason why Stay Inside I don't think we'll be having won't be going right back to last or anything like that, because it, becoming an unbeaten colt, staying an unbeaten colt through your 2-year-old campaign is just huge for their marketing.
Absolutely.
So they'll be I still think it's clearly the one to beat, but it is even a Rocket Tiger at 40s that's going to get a run back on the inside like that. There could be a forgotten horse here too, but again, I think the play is to oppose both the first two favourites.
Fantastic insight and fantastic analysis. It's probably stuff that you won't see on your other sort of commercial or mainstream shows, but these guys absolutely know what they're talking about. And big thanks, Johnny Walter. We'll definitely have you back on very shortly, and take it easy up there, mate.
Yeah, try and get out of the dungeon.
Stay away from those vacuum cleaner ladies there. Don't let them upset you.
I just had to give the vacuum lady a little bit of a serve downstairs. We've got the Renault going. I was very, very gentle with her when I actually saw her in person, but I was steaming when I was leaving the studio. So apologies for the little bit of noise there in the background. We're talking about the minimum bet laws, but thanks again, Walt. We're going to zip through the show. We're starting to go over here, so we're going to have a look at the TopSport big bets. So this is the early money at TopSport. We're very early here. It's only Thursday morning, but Darcy's got the big bets for this week.
Yeah, Flemington race 6, number 14, September run, 10K at $2.30. Flemington race 8, number 3, 50 stars, 2,500 at $5. Randwick race 6, number 2, Fiesta, 2,000 at $5.50. Randwick race 8, number 2, Dreamforce, 1,000 at $11.
Well, after hearing Casey speak, it looks like the Flemington bet's probably his 10,000 at the 2.30 and 50 stars. He might have knocked that price off early.
Yeah, they're the obvious plays at those odds, you would think.
Yeah, haven't had a look at Randwick yet. If I go into them and find them, I'll tweet out those thoughts. But I think we're starting to run over here, guys, and we might wrap up the show. But it's been a big episode.
Bit happening in DK out wide. Hopefully, then we got Eden Hope and Tao Wong and Saturday. Couldn't get more out wide than those joints. And then I think it's Stony Creek and Echuca Cup days on Sunday. So keep an eye out. We might try and find something out wide that we can find for the punters.
Exactly. $47.50 in the Little Birdie shop, and you get a free t-shirt. So join DK for the month of March Madness, and you'll get all his provincial out wide grouse. He'll be sticking to what he knows, so there'll be bugger all, if any, Metro stuff. He's got one at Pakenham for tonight, and again, he's got 8 meetings cover in the next few days. Darce, good luck over the weekend.
Thanks.
Big weekend. I think you're going to Stokehouse.
Yes, I am going to Stokehouse. Might watch the races after hearing all these tips.
Yeah, get on September run. It's probably going to drift in the early markets, but that's probably your banker.
Yeah.
Big thanks to everyone that's joined the show. It's been amazing insight, and especially the last little bit of the 2-year-old chat. It was probably my favourite. It's that tape analysis. Go back, rewatch that segment a couple of times. That is some great lessons on how to do your tapes and what to look for when you're looking at a 2-year-old race. Fantastic stuff, DK and Walt. Follow us at BetDoctor TV on Twitter, BetDoctor on Apple and Spotify podcasts, and watch us on the YouTube channel, Little Birdie Podcast, especially if you want to have a look at those race replays in the last sort of furlong there to see how you can do your form better. And a big thanks to puntingform.com.au and our major sponsor, topsport.com.au. We'll see you next week.